Two schools of thought, I think, for horror filmmakers. One is that the audience can always create something more horrible than you can show them. And the other school of thought is show them, everything. And I believe that both is true. I believe the audience can come up with something more horrible in their minds than I can show them, provided they're given the raw materials to construct something. And I also believe that I have got some pretty horrible things to show myself, so I try and mix and match. I try and scare them and weird them out with visuals, and I try and leave room for them to add their own ingredients to create.
Tonight, it is going to be Dean's movie review, but first, we've got a beer review that Johnny Rocket brought to the plate. What you got, Rocket?
He did this last time, and I appreciate it. Oh, Jackie O's.
Ooh.
Jackie O's.
Jackie O's is the first place I ever DJ'd karaoke at.
Fun fact about the Diener there.
Yes.
Well, I happened to see this. I knew after this week I needed some brewskis. Spotted this in the old case, and I was thinking some Jackie O's. I was actually talking Jackie O's with some coworkers earlier today, so I thought, perfect.
Yeah.
And this is a little limited edition hazy IPA called Under a Cloud.
Oh,
with
shit.
some really awesome can art. I mean, you got a possum on there. That's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, awesome possum. Without further ado, let's pass them around here.
Amen, brother. Thank you for bringing some new brewskis.
Sure.
Jackie O's is a great bar and brewery in Athens, Ohio. I lived in Athens for about 4 years.
Says this is a limited release, so boys, enjoy it while it lasts. Apparently, this is going away after a while. Let's catch them nostril notes real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that smells foamy and fruity.
I feel like that's how a possum would smell.
Foamy and fruity?
Hello!
I don't know.
Like a tangerine, kind of a?
All right, boys.
7%, so not super high, not super low, kind of right in that sweet spot.
Limited release.
Down the hatch, the old taste test.
Cheers, y'all.
Oh, that is...
Dude, these hazy IPAs.
Wow. It says sustainably crafted with purpose, and I gotta say,
If the purpose is to be delicious, yes! This is really good.
Athens, as a town in general, like they always try to, go the hippie route and try to be sustainable and not, like, just be horrible, like, what's the word I want to use?
Awful destroyers of the environment.
Hey, that's the one.
I've brought a few IPAs over the past month, and I haven't been a huge fan. But I've been like on the fence about how I feel about IPAs. That's what I'm saying.
Fair. It's
but
fair.
I feel like this is like an extremely well constructed one. It's a smooth, solid note throughout. I don't feel overwhelmed by drinking this. I think that's the best way to put it, which means if it has a high level of drinkability, that's great. And at
That's a great
7%,
point.
that's solid. Like, I think this
you
is
get,
great.
You get into the doubles and triples and everything, it's just like you said, it's like seriously a bus plowing through your face.
Yeah,
like,
some of them
flavor,
IPAs are rough.
and then like the hops finish so incredibly bitter because it's been double and triple hop. You're just like, my God.
I might give it a 10.
Dude,
Dude, I can see myself going out of my way. Like, my go-to is always Great Lakes, because I want to, like, support local breweries.
yes.
And I think Great Lakes is great.
The Classico.
But goddamn, I'm gonna look for more of this. Before it says it's limited release, so I'm gonna try to get as much of this as I can before it goes away.
Yeah, I would definitely get this now because it's probably going pretty fast. Especially as soon as people figure out how good this is gonna fly off the shelves.
It's really good.
So, star count for me.
Do it.
I really fail to find any fault with this beer. I'm gonna give it a 10.
Oh, shit.
It's great.
All right, because I'm not as well versed as these men in terms of beer, but I've been trying and I'm open to everything. I'm gonna give this a 9 with like potential to go up as I try more beer.
I couldn't give it 10 stars. I'm thinking more 8.5. 8.5. It's really good. Hazy IPAs are an acquired taste, but this is the goddamn best one I've ever had.
Well, I have one of my favorite movies of all time with one of my favorite actors of all time. We got Army of Darkness with Bruce Campbell. Like, the fact that he's called the king of B movies is kind of like, I don't know, it doesn't do him justice in my opinion, because he's just so great. Like, if you know me, I usually bring the comedy movies, and this is the best mixture of comedy and horror. Right after we're done with the movie, we're going to watch the first episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the TV show, and this is just a love letter to everyone who loved Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness and Bruce Campbell. I have some differing opinions than Tom, of course, about it. Like,
You'll have to stay tuned for that.
yeah, you'll have to stay
I'm
tuned.
grabbing ghost balls.
Hey, you gotta grab somebody.
Hey.
Stick around. Tommy will dig up the trailer.
You know it.
Peep that shit.
We'll be right back,
Get back.
motherfuckers.
We'll be back.
That's right.
In an age of darkness
May God have mercy upon your souls. Something's wrong. Something's amiss.
and a time of evil,
You shall die!
when the world needed a hero,
The swallow us all. I don't want to die.
what it got was him.
Groovy. You know your shoelace is untied.
He's a 20th century guy
For that arrogance, I shall see you dead.
trapped in the Middle Ages.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. This is my boomstick.
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
Foretold by a mystical book.
Within its pages are passages that can send you back to your time.
Forewarned by a wise man.
You must recite the words Klaatu, Berata, Niktu.
I got it.
Fulfilled by a wise guy.
Klaatu, Veranda.
When thou misspoke the words, the army of the dead awoke.
Now he's got a date
Give me some sugar, baby.
with the army of darkness.
You found me beautiful once.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Sound the trumpets. Raise the drawbridge. Drop the Oldsmobile. From Sam Raimi,
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
director of Darkman, comes Army of Darkness. They live. They breathe. They suck. Army of Darkness.
What a classic revisit of early 1990s pop culture cinema. This is a great movie, right, guys?
Yes.
To say the least, it's brilliant, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. I think this movie is probably the pinnacle of Sam Raimi's, at least mainstream pop culture notoriety. Something about this movie really just speaks to me, and I really like Sam's Spider-Man films. I feel like they really step outside of the whole cliche when it comes down to superhero movies. I feel like this is Sam Raimi at his most unhinged as a director. You've got him unleashing everything he knows as a cinematographer, as a director, as a screenplay writer, and then you've got Bruce Campbell, who's immediately at home with Sam Raimi and his brother Ted Raimi. You know what I'm saying? So you've got all these heavyweights coming in hot for this movie.
I said at the beginning, and after watching this again, my opinion hasn't changed. I feel like everything that's, you know, film related with Evil Dead has been good, like including the remake, which was only produced by Sam Raimi. He didn't direct it.
No, he
I
didn't.
feel like all of the movies are fun. You know, if you're a comedy fan, you can find stuff to enjoy. If you're a horror fan, you can find stuff to enjoy.
Yes.
Overall, like they're just fun. And when you want to hang out with your friends or watch a movie at the movie theater, like these are the types of movies you want. Honestly, all of them. Like that's my opinion on them. I do feel like if you lean more towards like horror, maybe Evil Dead 2 is like your all-time favorite, and if you lean more towards comedy, this is your all-time favorite. And you know they're both just fantastic.
It is so fucking good. Like this movie has something for everyone. You know, it really does. Like this is the kind of movie you can put on at a party, and everybody's going to enjoy a different aspect of it. Like some people will appreciate the soundtrack. Some people are like, oh, I love that shot. They'll appreciate the cinematography. Other people will just be like, oh, that was a funny line, or this looks so cheesy, it's hilarious. Like there is really something in it for everyone.
I find myself going towards comedies more often, and that's just right up my alley with this. But I also love horror movies, and I also love good cinematography, and if you could like take a horror movie and a comedy and just good old-fashioned slapstick, like you got this movie, and
it really is lightning in a bottle. It captures both perfectly. It really does.
Great.
And this is like before there was any real CGI out there, so it was all like old school effects, and like I appreciate that, where it's like
Me too.
the skeletons actually look like skeletons. Like, you know, of course they're a little like bumbling, but
It's
like
stop motion, but it still kind of works, because you would think, you know, an animated skeleton would be animated and herky-jerky, so it allows you to suspend disbelief, right? And
I mean,
you love it.
It's like a fucking security blanket for me.
We're touching on Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness. In my humble opinion, Army of Darkness gets a solid 9 out of 10 because it really holds a special place in Tom's heart. BC, Army of Darkness, do it!
So for me, I mean, I do want to touch really quick on like the old school effects because I'm the younger one in the room. But,
Yes.
I've always, you know, appreciated practical effects more, and that's not to say people that do CGI don't work hard, because I think they do, and
Agreed.
it is coming a very long way.
Yes.
But I think something about like the old school or practical effects, like it feels more tangible, and that alone makes it feel more real. You know, so
Great.
for me, I've always enjoyed that. So seeing like skeletons explode and stuff, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But for me, I will say I agree with Tom. I think Evil Dead 2 is my favorite. So like that kind of gets like a 10, but this still gets a strong 9 for
Yes.
me. I really like it. It's a great movie.
Amen, rock it! Rock our socks off, dude! Where you at, Alex?
I will rock your socks off with 10 stars out of 10! Because I lean a little bit more towards comedy myself. So this awesome practical effects slapstick comedy horror is just fucking right on my alley. And like I said, I fell in love with it all over again. It's so fucking good. I can watch this again and again, and it has rewatch value every single time.
Positively positive.
10 stars, folks!
Trinity doer.
Well, this is my movie, and, you know, I don't think we've said enough good things about Bruce Campbell. Like, he runs the show. It's his fucking flick. Even Evil Dead 2, like, lesser extent Evil Dead 1. But this is his franchise. Like, if it wasn't for him, would we be talking about...
I don't think nobody else could
Would
do...
we talk about Army of Darkness?
Boys, we'll talk about that after the show.
I don't know if we would.
I'm going to.
Well, Bruce Campbell. Bruce motherfucking Campbell. Love that guy. He runs the show. And there's Sam Raimi, who fucking makes all the effects work and, like, pulls the story together. But, like, would anyone give a shit without Bruce Campbell?
Well, to a degree, yes, I agree.
They perfectly complement each other, I think is the best
They're a
way.
hell of a team.
Yeah.
Not to mention the combination of horror and comedy and just awesome old school special effects that really draw you in. Like, I feel like it hits the mark on every level, and I am, of course, Going with my buddy Johnny Rocket.
Whoa!
Giving it a 10.
10
Whoa!
stars. I mean, this is what we're all about. Like,
Yeah.
this is not what the channel is about right here. Like, crossing over something. Like, I mean, this is you're mixing oil and water. You have horror, but comedy? What? Yes.
And it somehow mixes.
It perfectly, and I can't. I just have to throw it in there. Like, seriously, like, if you don't get it, get the fuck out.
We are moving into the TV series Sam Raimi's directed first episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead. I think this is a great introduction to the new era of Ash and the Army of Darkness. All right, we're going to be kicking off the promo for that shit. Beep that, motherfuckers. We'll be right back for the finale.
Ash vs. Evil Dead. It is a love letter to everyone who loved Evil Dead 2 and fucking
Army of Darkness.
That's the one. I was getting there. Gosh. This is a great. This is a great TV show, guys. Army of Darkness. Why are we doing this?
See, and I feel like with this, Ash versus the Evil Dead, it's a very specific thing. It is kind of cashing in on the character's MO. And that's my opinion on it. I feel like the movies and the prospects of a TV series, they're warranted. But at the same time, it's definitely a very specific audience. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Probably wrong.
Well, actually, now that you put it that way, I can see how it's kind of bullshit that they did just try to make money off of the cool, like, unmarketableness of Evil Dead. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I love Bruce Campbell. I love Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. But, like, now that you put it that way, I'm almost offended that they were making money off of this unmarketable awesomeness. This first episode is great. It's a love letter from Army of Darkness, and I love it. Here you go.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah. So.
Come on.
This first episode, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of strong elements to it. It has that charm that you want. You know, there's plenty of funny one-liners in this as well. Bruce Campbell is Bruce Campbell. You know, you can't go wrong.
What else do you need, right?
I actually liked towards the beginning of the episode some of the creepy elements they had going on, especially in the house with the cops.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really well thought out and good scene.
Yep.
And overall, I mean, if you're someone that is coming in blind to the series overall, I feel like this is like a good little, 30-minute intro.
Coming in this one, I'm not exactly blind, of course, because I'm very much familiar with the trilogy beforehand, or where this came from. And I agree. I think even if you haven't watched these movies, you can go ahead and pick up this and watch this first episode, and you'll be caught up pretty quick. I hope we've been informative.
No.
Until next time, tune in. Drum Scooter.